As a Molly Mae watcher and consumer, I've known that she's had a project in the works for 2 years.
Okay.
She would just talk about it for 2 years. I'm working on this project. I'm really proud of it. It's something I'm working on my own. The only slight hint as to what it was that she used to be the creative director of Pretty Little Thing, the clothing brand in the UK. I don't know what that actually meant or the scope of her role.
Like an ambassador kind of thing.
Yeah, they called her a creative director, but essentially she was just their face. Yeah. So she stopped working with them after she had a daughter.
Yep.
So the only slight hint was it could be clothing because she stopped working with her primary clothing brand, but she didn't really give any hints as to what it was. And then a week before it launched, she said launching on this day, a week before it launched, people started guessing and someone found the Instagram account and made a TikTok about it. There was no post, but it was obvious that it was clothing because someone went and did the deep dive on the trademarking and blah, 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 blah. But they were right.
Now, who is Molly Mae? She's. Did she get her start from Love Island?
She did. So she went on Love Island, ages ago. Not one, maybe I don't know, season 5, I think it was. And she matched with Tommy Fury. And then they literally dated up until last month. And they got engaged, had a daughter. But yeah, that's how she was already an influencer before she went into Love Island. Okay. But her personal brand completely blew up after Love Island. And she's probably the most famous person to come out of Love Island.
Yeah,
she's built the best brand.
I would say she's one of 2 women I know from Love Island. It's her and Ekansu.
Yeah.
She's super famous as well.
Yeah.
But Molly Mae is the OG.
She's done so well, building her influencer career out of Love Island.
Yeah.
She is unmatched to anyone else that comes out of the show. She's Completely unassociated with reality TV now. She has her own brand. Completely.
It's so interesting, this, how Love Island, transforms, these creators'
Crazy, huh?
Because, up until Love Island, I'd assume she'd have, maybe, up to 10K followers on Instagram. She'd post, the average, model pic here and there, but, nothing crazy. And then
nothing
she goes
crazy.
to Love Island. People get to hear her voice, see how they interact.
Yeah, know her personality.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then just blow up. And it's happening right now with the cast of Love Island USA. Yes. I told you a month ago how good of a season it was, and now it's ended. And the cast, it's the most viewed season. Yeah. Even Carter's up with the times.
Carter's tapped in with Love Island.
It ended, I don't know, maybe a month and a half ago. And now there's 3 girls, Leah being one of them, Janae and Serena.
Yep.
And they're full on celebrity status. They've got 3 million Instagram followers. Yeah. They're going to New York Fashion Week. They're on red carpets. They're being invited to celebrities' houses. They're hanging out with Kylie Jenner's friends. Damn. It's crazy what Love Island does for people.
Especially the community it garners. It's always I'd see some highlight of the show on TikTok, and I would have fucking 20,000 comments of just people discussing the lore of it, and I'm
that's one of the main reasons I still use Twitter. Yes. Because I like to, as soon as I watch an episode, I'd go into Twitter, look up the hashtag, and just read all the conversation about it, and it just gives me such satisfaction to know that I'm not the only one thinking this, or I'm not the only one annoyed by this person. I never actually tweet anything, but man, it's such a I don't know, it's so satisfying to me to know that other people are annoyed by what I'm annoyed at, or think someone's ridiculous, or this specific person. And you can kind of tell who's going to be successful when they come out of the show, because there's so much conversation around them, good or bad. There's just talk about them.
So bad talk is not that terrible if it's on Love Island.
No. So Leah, for example, she's probably the most famous person out of that season, and she had kind of a negative reputation in the show.
Yep.
And then she just did a complete turnaround and won people over by the end.
Yeah.
So throughout the season, because you're literally watching people every single day, you kind of go through different phases of liking them, hating
character
them.
Development.
Yeah, exactly.
Crazy.
There's so much character development because you're literally watching them every day for like 2 months.
Yeah.
So, and no one's going to be like perfect the whole time.
Yeah.
I mean, some people are, but yeah, it's like very common for someone to be hated and then loved, or hated in the villa, come out and like redeem everyone. Yeah.
I feel like sometimes it's better to start off being hated, because then the love sometimes is always like a multiple, like a lot more than the hate, or like a lot stronger than the hate. Like, even like, I want to think like the most hated people that start getting hated, their transition into being loved is so I don't know what, it's so interesting. Like I don't know if it's a good example, but the only example I can think of is like the Catch Me Outside girl.
Catch Me. Oh, Bad
Baby.
Barbie. I don't know.
How do you say it?
Bad Baby.
Damn,
Yeah.
My fault. I thought I was saying it, but she's
I have no idea what she's called.
But she was the most hated girl on the internet for like a week. The second she showed up on Dr. Phil.
Yeah. She was truly.
And then the second she like kind of owned it, and she became like her own woman and started releasing rap music.
Yeah.
It's become like a cult fan base.
Yeah,
almost.
There's lots of love for her, and her music ain't even bad.
Nah, Gucci
flip
flop. Oh, but now she has.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's primarily true when someone's like, when you actually see the change in someone, or they start owning who they are, and they find like their following, well, not their following, their fans. Yeah.
It's low-key like wrestling, I feel like. Because like wrestlers, like, hear me out, like the characters sometimes, like, when they're so good at being like bad or evil, you kind of almost start rooting for the person, and then you want to see their transition to becoming a good person.
How are they bad or evil, like, in the ring?
Yeah, like they cut promos, like they talk to the mic, they're like, the second they catch the mic, they're like shitting on the city they're in. They're like, oh, this city's full of shit people. And then slowly people start to like that, and then people start rooting for them, and then naturally they become like the favorite.
Are they ever like nice in the ring, or are they always just talking shit? And then
well, if they're in their like bad phase, they're like being super slimy in the ring, like hitting low blows.
They
like
go
cheating.
through phases.
Yeah.
Interesting. So you watch wrestling?
A little bit.
Oh my god, I've never met anyone who watches wrestling before.